everybody, it's Deb here. Thanks for joining me today. I hope y'all are having a great day. Thanks so much for being here and subscribing to my channel. And y'all give this video a thumbs up. I surely appreciate all the support that you give me every single time. So y'all, today we're going to be doing a card, or a couple of cards actually, using the card kit from Tres Jolie. And we're going to be using this Deco Essentials folding card stencil, and it's really neat. I've never used one. I think we used something like this before, but it was for a folio, and but this one is for a card. So we're going to go ahead and we're going to play around with this. I have a few ideas in mind how we're going to use this. So let's go ahead and get started. Also, we're going to go ahead and use the die and the flowers along with the little tickets and the paper collection, as well as the 12 by 12 cardstock that you get inside of your kit. So we're going to be using all of these things from the kit, and we may even throw in some of the items from the mixed media kit. So we're going to go ahead and play around. We might use these, we may not. I don't know. But thanks for joining me. Let's go ahead and get started. Okay, so to begin our first card, we're going to go ahead and trace the outer edge of the large stencil. And you're just going to do this all the way around. And then once we're done, we're going to go ahead and we're going to do the inside. And you're going to do the smaller piece, but you're going to do the first line in that smaller area. And you're going to just trace that all the way around. And of course, this is going to be on a scratch piece of paper or a scrap piece of cardstock. Then we're going to go ahead and we're going to cut both of these out. Now this is what they both should look like. You should have one large one and one small one. And you're just going to go ahead and cut these out on the line that you traced around the stencil. So all the way around. After you do that and you get these cut out, put the ruler in the middle and go ahead and grab a bone folder and score it and fold these in half. This is going to be a pocket, and we're going to put glue on the edge, on the left and right edge of this little piece here. And this is going to form our pocket. And you're just going to go ahead and burnish that down. Next, once I was done cutting everything, I went and folded them together, folded the piece, and then cut off any excess that was around the card base. Next, you're going to grab your stencil again and a pattern piece of paper, and you're going to trace the inside line of this stencil. Okay, and that's going to be your mat. So that will be the mat that we're placing on the base of our card. Next, you'll go ahead and score that middle line like I had suggested before. Just place your ruler in the middle and score it with your bone folder and fold. Then we're going to go ahead and fold this and cut off any excess pieces that you see that are just poking out that you don't want to show. And we're going to place this on top here to make sure it fits as a mat. And you're going to have a nice little border around your card. Now to cover the pocket, I went ahead and just took 1/2 of the inside of the small stencil. You're going to trace that, the second line inside of that, okay? And that's going to give you your mat for your little pocket, okay? And then we're going to go ahead and glue down the larger mat on top of the base of the card. So I'm just going to place glue around the edging of the mat, place that around it. Now, if you want to, you can cut the mat in half and then do one side and then the other, but I just folded it all the way around. Next, I went ahead and used my solar paste to ink up a black piece of paper, and for some reason my recorder shut off, so I didn't get to show you how I did it. But you just take the blue solar paste, put it on a black
cardstock, same thing with the purple. You just go ahead and rub that onto a black piece of cardstock. I did them both at the same time on the same piece of cardstock because you're going to go ahead and use that little die that we have in the card kit and cut out those little hearts that we have. Now, I went ahead and cut out the foliage using different colors of green. I used like a dark green, I used an emerald green, and then I used like a lighter green for my leaves and my flower foliage. So next I'm putting these little pieces of hearts that we cut out using the solar paste on top, and I'm just using my glue to adhere those down. And I really like how this turned out. It's really pretty and it kind of mixes in with the background of the paper, but it really gives it just a little bit of shimmer and shine to the front of our card. And you're going to go ahead and place those hearts down all over. Now, I did do two of each item in the die set. So in order to get a really full little bunch of foliage and flowers and stuff inside of that little pocket. Now, to do our little sentiment, I used the thank you chipboard piece that I got in my little card kit, and I went ahead and I just used the purple solar paste on top of the chipboard. I did not gesso the chipboard or anything like that. And then I went and used the blue solar paste up on top of that chipboard. Now I'll put the link down below for this beautiful thank you chipboard piece, and so you can grab one and try this out. So pretty. I love it. And then after you're done, if you have any little paste pieces that got in the little cracks, just go ahead and take a toothpick and take those out. Alrighty, we are almost done with this card, y'all. And after I went ahead and did the solar paste, I went ahead and placed glue on the back of the chipboard piece. And that's one good thing about this solar paste that I like, is that it doesn't take very long for it to dry. I went ahead and placed the chipboard right on top of my little pocket and patted it down with a napkin. Okay, so with our second card, you're going to trace around the stencil again on the outer side of that stencil onto the purple cardstock. And then on the black cardstock, you're going to trace on that second line around and cut them both out. Next, I grabbed this stencil that was in a previous kit, and if it is still available, I'll list it down below. But for those of you that get the kits regularly or have this kit, this stencil was in the mixed media kit. And I went ahead and used the solar paste, and which is the purple and the blue. The blue is deep end and the purple is royal flush. And I went ahead and just kind of mixed them both up together. So with the purple, I kind of scattered it around in different areas. And then after I was done doing the purple on the areas that I wanted, I came back in, and make sure that you wipe off your little spatula. You're going to come back in with the blue and then go around on the other areas, and you're just going to kind of, intermix them together. This turns out beautifully and I absolutely love it. So we're going to take this off now, and I'm going to share with you how this turned out. Now, I did get some bleeding underneath the stencil in some areas, but really it still looks really good and I love it. Now, again, the solar paste doesn't take very long to dry. I did let it sit for a little bit, and then I glued this right on top of the card, leaving a nice purple border around my black cardstock, around the mat. So pretty. I just love it. So the next thing I did is I came back in with some of the flowers that are from the card kit, and I just kind of placed them around. Some of the flowers I didn't use, some of them I did. And I love the little baby flowers that are in these little flower kits because, or packages, I should say, because you can twist them together and make like a little bunch, right? And it's just so cute. So I went ahead and did that, bunched them together and placed them down. And I did try to cover up some of the mistakes, like the bleeding through underneath the stencil. But really, like I said, you don't really have to. It just kind of blends in together. It's just so pretty. And so we're actually going to use this as our background for our card. We're not going to use any of the pattern paper. And so it's just basically this background that we made and then the flowers, and they really turned out beautifully. Now I am sticking some foam tape on the back of those the little tiny flowers, so they can pop up a little bit. And because laying flat, they just didn't look right. So I went ahead and used some foam dots on the back of them. And then I went ahead and just cut out some of the leaf foliage, and I went ahead and I placed it on top of there just like that. And then I love that little pink flower. It's so pretty. I just thought it looked really pretty right there. And I think it's because there was like a little hint of, it looks like pink, but I think it was like the purple and the blue mixed together kind of made it look like a pinkish tone. And like I said, you got to try this technique. It is really pretty. I did pick it up from one of the sites that I was visiting on YouTube about solar paste because I've never used solar paste before. So this is really new to me and so fun. So if you've never used them, you got to try it out because it's just a whole different ball game for your cards, y'all, and maybe for your scrapbook backgrounds as well. Your layouts and such. And yeah, so maybe we'll be doing that on one of our next projects. so so I did put in that pink flower, and then we're gonna head on over. I'm gonna finish layering this up, and then I'll come back in. Okay, so the next thing I did is I took one of the sentiments that is from the card kit, and it's on the front of the page from the card collection or from the paper collection. You flip it over, and it's got a bunch of different sentiments in there. And I went ahead and cut one out and put the little flags, cut the little pointies at the end to make a little flag, and then went ahead and just stuck that on there. Now I'm just placing some pop dots or glue dots on the back of there, and that is it. We're done. So pretty. Okay, for our last card, this is our third and final card. You're gonna get a piece of black cardstock, and you're gonna go ahead and smear on the solar paste, the deep end, and the royal flush all over. What I did is I took one and I did one first in different areas, and then took the second one and did the other areas. After it dries, you're going to go ahead and place it inside of an embossing folder, and then you're going to run it through your machine, and voila, look at how pretty that looks. This is another terrific background that you can have for a card. And now what I did is I brought in some frames. I had seen this frame and I thought it would look really cool on top of this embossed solar paste background. And but then I seen another one. There is a larger one in the scrapbook kit. So if you have that kit, you can go ahead and use a larger one to create this card. And I went ahead and cut out that middle section of that frame, and I ended up using another frame too. But I ended up using one of the cut pieces, not this particular frame. With this card, I was looking for a layered look, but like a framed layered look. And I decided to go ahead and use those two pieces that I cut from the inside of that one frame. And then I went ahead and stuck those aside, cut out my papers to go ahead and layer on top of my card. I went ahead and went for this striped piece. I just love it, and it's got some distress on there. And then I decided to go ahead and use a pattern paper, which is the back or the reverse side of that 12 by 12 pattern paper. And then I decided to go ahead and use some foam tape to pop that up. So I went for this type of layered card because I really didn't want to cut down the embossed solar paste paper that we did. I really liked the whole sheet, and so I wanted to just keep the whole sheet. So I just did not want to cut it at all. I think I did end up cutting like a smidge down, like I think an eighth or a quarter of an inch here and there. But other than that, it's pretty much the whole thing. So here it is, and on the back, I went ahead and again used some foam tape to go ahead and lift this up because I did, like I said, I wanted some layers, and I just thought that it would look so good layered up. And then we're going to go ahead and mount this. Now here's the frames that I went ahead and chose to use. This is the one that's down in the right hand side. That's the one that I cut apart from the larger frame, and that was the inner part of that frame. I went ahead and stuck that down first because I knew I wanted to use that. Wasn't sure how this card was going to look, but I really love the layers of this, and so I went ahead and just placed that down because I knew that's what I wanted. And then for the larger frame, it was cutting off some of the beautiful embossing that we did. And so I chose the smaller frame. Then I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to add some flowers to this from the scrapbook kit. Now these roses are in the scrapbook kit because we used pretty much all of the flowers from the card kit. So I went for the scrapbook kit. And these frames are from the scrapbook kit in case I didn't say that earlier. And we're going to go ahead and just lay those down. Now, I did go ahead and do some splatters on this card, and I love it. I did do a thick streak right there, but that's okay because these are handmade cards, and so I think it looks really good. So I just left it. I kind of patted it a little bit just to get a little bit off of there, but it looks really pretty. And then I added some of the ephemera from the scrapbook kit as well. And so using all three of the kits together is something that you can always do, and that's why I love Tres Jolie kits because they coordinate with one another so well. So now I'm just inking up the little ephemera pieces. I did cut a little bit off of that tag, and then I'm just going to go ahead and glue that down. And then I used another frame with a bow and then one of the little tickets. And I just thought that those looked so cute. So went ahead and stuck those together. These tickets come in the card kit. So, and you get a ton of these. They're so cute. And then I went ahead again and used a sentiment from the card kit that just says hello there. And I went ahead and backed that up with some foam tape. We're going to place that down, and that is it. We are done, you all. This card is so pretty.
Okay, y'all, so these are all three of the cards that we did today, and these turned out so good. I absolutely love them, and they're just so pretty. I really love the colors and everything. And I hope that you guys really enjoyed all the techniques that we did. And I know I had fun making these. And we used the Solar Paste by Simon Hurley that is in the mixed media kit, along with the card kit and the scrapbook kit. And I will put the links down below for if the stencil is still available that we used for the background on this. I will put the link for the thank you chipboard piece, and then I'll put all the links down below for all three of these kits that we used. Again, thank you all so much for joining me. I hope you enjoyed today's tutorial. And down below, please let me know which one is your favorite card, which was your favorite technique that I used. And thanks again for joining me. Take care, y'all. I'll talk to you soon. Bye. Thanks for joining me today, y'all. I hope you enjoyed today's tutorial and head on over to Tres Jolie to check out their shop. Please give this video a thumbs up, subscribe, and comment, and join me Friday nights at 4:30 Central Time.